there she is. There she is. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here in our trusty Toyota, we're climbing the Fujinomiya Trail today. Here is how to climb Mount Fuji in 2 days. This is Mizugatsuka parking lot. This is where you would park, and you would have to take a bus or taxi up to the 5th station. Zooming on my face here. But we have permits, so we will be driving up to the trailhead. Here we go, show the man. お願いします。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。Okay, upon arrival to the 5th station of the Fujinomiya Trail, you'll get here. Last free bathroom opportunity. You can also purchase some snacks, some lockers, rental gear. Also, we got everything we need today. There have been some changes to the registration process in Shizuoka Prefecture this year on Mount Fuji. So that's the Fujinomiya, Tsubashiri, and Gotemba trails. So you must now register via an app, pay a 4,000 yen entrance fee. You get a QR code, you show the QR codes there, receive a wristband, and they will check them through the entrance right there. We are official Shizuoka guides, so we'll pass through without that today. And of course, if you are on a trip with us, we register for you, so you don't have to do any of that. Hey Dylan, tell us a little bit about the trails on Mount Fuji.
Here we are. We have 4 trails. Blue trail being the Fujinomiya, the green trail being the Gotemba trail, and we also have the red trail, which is Tsubashiri. All 3 of these trails are in Shizuoka Prefecture. And last but not least, we have the Yoshida Trail, which is in Yamanashi Prefecture. Today we are hiking the Fujinomiya Trail.
The yellow trail of the Yoshida is by far the most popular. The Fujinomiya Trail is the 2nd most popular. However, it sees about 3 times as less people as the Yoshida, the yellow trail. The plan today is start here, 2,400 meters. It is the highest up of the 5th stations. We'll be staying at the summit in the morning, going to the peak, hopefully a lap around, given that the weather is Gucci. Walk down the Gotemba Trail, and if we have time, cross through the Hoei crater from the last eruption of Mount Fuji, cut back over to where we begin. All right, this is Sir Rutherford Alcock, the first foreigner to climb Mount Fuji, and is Britain's first ambassador to Japan. He climbed Fuji for the first time in
73.
60. We got the one cloud in the sky obstructing the view here a little bit, but you can still see the top. That's where we are aiming to go
Today. Pronto?
So we're above the clouds. Even at the 5th station, it can be quite a bit cooler than in Tokyo or in town, but man, I am sweating. It is an absolutely scorching day today. Even Dylan is sweating.
Yeah, feeling good though.
And we have arrived at the 6th station. There are a series of huts that you get to along the way. This is the first one, and we'll take a look inside here. Aside from the 6th station, which is very, very close to where we started, each of the stretches between these huts are sort of 40 to 60 minutes in between. So really the hike starts from here. It gets a lot more, a lot of people climb just up to here, and it gets a lot steeper and rockier from this point on. Okay, so each one of these huts, it will be a an opportunity for you to gather some supplies as well as go to the bathroom. Each one of the bathrooms will cost a couple of coins, and anything you get at the mountain at these huts will be Mount Fuji prices. So half a liter of water will be 500 yen, whereas down in town you can get 2 liters of water for about 130 yen or so. So it's whether you want to carry it up or purchase it on the mountain. So it's a pretty good idea to have hiking poles. Hiking poles are a great idea to have. At these huts, you can buy the Kongozue, a classic Mount Fuji wooden staff. At each one of these huts, you can get them stamped. They do cost between 200 and 300 yen, and with the final stamp being at the summit shrine. But today we've got poles with us. So the Fujinomiya is the shortest but steepest of the 4 trails, the most direct route to the actual highest point, to the peak, Kengamine Peak. As you can see, it's quite a bit rockier here, and it gets progressively steeper and steeper.
So Fujinomiya Trail, it's quite rocky. It's very, very good to have good sturdy boots for grip and just durability, so they're not blowing apart on you as you're hiking up the mountain. Nothing worse than having to duct tape your boots to make it back to the parking lot.
We are now at the 7th station, the next hut, well above the clouds here at 2,700 meters, and we're taking a little snack break. How much water do you bring for the trip, Dylan?
This kind of trip I'll take about anywhere between 1.6 to 2 liters of water.
Something to keep in mind is that on Mount Fuji it does cost money to buy water, and water is much more expensive here than down in town. And yeah, we typically consume somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5 liters of water. That's on the low end. You might want to bring a little more. Something to consider is at the huts, you actually can't, there's no plumbing. So things like brushing our teeth, washing our hands, we need to use our own water. Japanese rice balls, so good, it's so good. Though it's always nice to have a hot meal, most of the meals on Mount Fuji are sort of pre-made, you know, bag and boil heat kind of meals. So it's nice to make sure to, you know, have something substantial to eat before you climb Mount Fuji. And it's good to bring your own. I recommend you bring snacks for your entire trip, because all they sell on the mountain is really candy, Snickers bars, chocolate, things like that. I like to bring rice balls. I wish I could say I made it myself, but I did not. So as you can see, it says the new 7th station. The next hut, which is also about 40 minutes to an hour away from here, is also a 7th station. And you may have heard the Trailhead be referred to as the 5th station, and it's all a little confusing. I am gonna confuse. I'm gonna fuse you, okay? All mountains in Japan, the summit is technically the 10th. We don't call it the 10th, we just call it the summit. The 5th station is roughly halfway, and it is an old way of measurement. And so these huts, they compete. We're the real 7th station. No, we're the real 7th station. So on several huts, on some trails, you'll see several huts with the same station number. And they say it's an old way of measurement, where back in the day you had a torch, and the amount of fuel it used, or when the fuel ran out, when the torch ran out, that would be where your station is. It's known as, in Japanese, it would be gome. So this is the 7th station, so nana gome. And it's also how we measure rice. So rice or sake is measured in go. Is it 120 milliliters? Getting a little bit windy. We're above 3,000 meters here, and this is where the altitude starts to kick in a little bit. We're not going to an altitude where we get, you know, serious life-threatening complications, but everyone will feel something. It might be as mild as shortness of breath, tingling sensation in extremity. But you know, nausea, lightheadedness, dizziness can happen. the only medicine really is this sound, getting out of the wind here a little bit. And loss of appetite is a symptom, but you do need to keep eating. So it's good to bring some snacks, gummy bears, things like that are always a great thing to bring. The good thing about Mount Fuji is you meet a lot of like-minded people. And Dylan here is actually no longer my friend, and I now have a new best friend. This is Ayano right here. All right. Dylan and I have caught up with, well, we have a tour today. And who do we have here? David. Say hi.
Yeah.
Where are we right now? Can you explain a little bit about where we are?
We're on the way to the summit, actually.
It's a steep section starting here.
It's a steep section just below the 8th station called Ikerakan. And yeah, we're almost there.
So the 8th station will be at roughly 3,300 meters. It'll be higher up than any other mountain in Japan, aside from the top of Mount Fuji, of course. So the rest is really just a formality. Nice work, team. Definitely getting steeper here.
Fuji strong.
Yeah, Fuji strong. It only gets steeper from here. Now it is an exceptionally warm day today. Dylan and I have just been in this attire all day long, despite being above 3,000 meters. But it is not uncommon for it to get cold, so make sure you have warm layers with you. Rain jacket, something to break the wind. Sometimes we definitely wear gloves at this elevation, as well as, well, a fleece layer, maybe even a winter jacket. And in charge, these are electrolyte tablets. Nice to suck on while on the Fuji. Look at Dylan wearing his hat sideways.
Yeah. Notice there's no sun on my face. Sun on my face? No sun on my face.
All right, 9.5. We got caught up to our crew.
Oh, hey guys.
We got Callum.
Hey, you didn't see there.
He's from Scotland.
Scotland.
Got to be careful with him.
Aye.
Drinks too much whiskey.
Campbell.
So as you can see here, we have some yellow and red rocks.
Red rock would indicate that there is iron in the rock. Yellow would indicate that there is sulfur. And the black, the darker stuff, is your basalt, volcanic hard lava. Magma.
We are on the final stretch leading to the summit. I would say it's the steepest section, and you definitely get out of breath the fastest here. Now you may have seen the Torii Gate before. In the Shinto religion, which is the indigenous religion of Japan, they mark the division between the mundane and the divine, and you are not supposed to walk through the middle. You can walk through it, just not through the middle. The middle is reserved for the gods. So you just have to walk through the side like so. Well, what a beautiful day. Could be in a t-shirt all day. And we are now at the crater rim and the summit hut where we will be spending the night. So this is Chojo Fujikan. This is one of the huts that we like to use. It is on the crater rim of Mount Fuji, and in the morning we have a 30-minute walk or so to the absolute tippity-toppity. This is amongst the nicer huts in my opinion, and this is what the rooms look like with the little bunk, and they do have partitions. COVID kind of did us a favor. Before COVID, all these mattresses were shoulder to shoulder, bumper to bumper, partitions, nada. All right. So things I do suggest you to bring is all of our gear goes right here. There's actually not going to be any opportunities to hang your gear in case if it's wet or you dry out gear. You can't do that. So bring a plastic bag, put your wet clothes into there, and bring a dry set of clothes. Keep them dry during your hike, so once you get to the hike, once you get to the hut, while you're hiking, fight the cold, so you don't have to fight the cold at nighttime, and you have a set of warm clothes waiting for you once you get to the top. And there's a big dining area and a little gift shop. And usually around 5:30, 6 o'clock, we all have a curry dinner here. Sorry guys, I've met a fan. Do you have a photo for me to sign?
I can't believe it's you.
Photo for me to
so
sign
honored.
And right next to the Okumiya shrine, or the shrine that's right here, we've got the post office, but unfortunately the post office closes on the 20th of August each year, and it is currently September 1st.
Post office?
And troller. And just around the corner, we've got the, what is that called? What's that called? He's a guide, I think.
What's that called?
The Kingamine Peak, the highest point. So we'll be aiming to go there in the morning for sunrise time. The classic Mount Fuji dinner is a curry dinner. There's a vegetarian and normal curry option, but it is awesome blossom. Classic Fuji dinner.
Yummy.
Curry rice. So mostly the huts.
Looks like a kindergarten with this background with the stars.
It is a kindergarten.
So it is currently 4:30 a.m. It's a crater. It's almost sunrise time, and we'll be making it up to the top up there to view the sunrise. And the final steps leading up to the summit will be the steepest section. It is very sleek, moving slowly. So we've arrived at the peak. There's a defunct weather station at the peak here. We got the main summit post, and we're all waiting on the sunrise. And we have, of course, the crater, which is not lit up yet. So before it gets kind of busy, it's just before sunrise time, so everyone's posted up for a good sunrise spot. But we've started our lap around the crater, so we're actually in the crater here, as you can see, and hopefully we'll be on the other side in time for the sunrise. And of course the crater will be well lit up there. So the lap around the crater, I should say, is only possible on good weather days. Today the weather's quite nice, it's not very windy. It is a detour, and it is a very cool thing to do though on days and energy levels permitting. So we got the famous Aokigahara, or Suicide Forest, or infamous I should say. We can see the Southern Alps National Park there that's got all of Japan's tallest mountains in a row, aside from Mount Fuji of course. On a very clear day, well, we can see Yatsugatake right now, and even the Northern Alps, the Hakuba area. Okay, we made it to the other side of the crater for ta-da! Sunrise. So this is the summit of the Yoshida side right here. Actually, Yoshida and Subashiri, they share the same ascent trail for the top third of the mountain. We got a beautiful sunrise, and they're coming up from here. And this trail is much more developed than the rest of them. There are a lot more people, as you can see. And at these shrines, you can get the main summit stamp for your hiking poles, the wooden Japanese or Fuji hiking poles known as the Kongozue, as well as you can get a bunch of lucky charms, amulets that are common souvenirs they can get from shrines all over Japan. Contrary to popular belief, but the descent is actually tougher than the ascent, and this is because lots of slippery steps, rocky terrain continues of course, and one must be wary of foot placement. So we're actually descending on a different trail than the way we came up. We're on the Fujinomiya. We were on the Fujinomiya coming up, and we're on the Gotemba trail coming down now, and we're actually going to walk through. We can see the rim of the Hoei crater from the last eruption of Japan, and one can actually walk through it and cut back towards the Fujinomiya trail where we started. This option is of course weather and energy level dependent. It is a detour, so it's not every climb that we do this, but on a nice day like today, it's a nice option. And once the sun's come up, it is heating up real quick. And of course, the weather's cleared a little bit and we can see the Pacific Ocean, a little more of the Pacific Ocean now. Much of the descent on this side of the mountain will be on scree. That's kind of sandy, like a sand highway. It's easier on the joints than the way we came up, but definitely is slippery, so be wary. Gators! Gators! These things are good to bring with you, especially if you're wearing low top shoes. It stops rocks from getting into them. If you're wearing, you know, high top boots with pants that go over the cuffs of the boots, you're generally fine, but it's nice to have gaiters for sure. I don't know what's up with Dylan's weird gallop. Never seen that. As soon as I whipped out the camera, he started doing that. So the Gotemba trail continues on, and we can see the parking lot all the way down there, but it is the longest of the four trails. Actually, it's significantly longer, and the Fujinomiya trail starts 1,000 meters in elevation above the Gotemba trail. So we are now cutting over to the Prince Route, which goes through the crater from the last eruption to cut back to the Fujinomiya Trail. Quite a bit windier on this side of the mountain, but welcome to the Hoei Crater, the last eruption of Mount Fuji. Well, that's it, that's all. We got the parking lot right there. We were very close to the bottom, just as the weather's coming in at the top there. We couldn't have timed it better. Perfect 2 days, perfect weather. It was warm, not cold, and didn't bring the rain gear out. Well done, high five, nice work. Whoops, no, we did a better one than that.
There you go.
All right.
That's it.
All right, words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. In weather like this, just enjoy the views.
Ooh.
You know?
Carl,
But
any words of wisdom?
just cut me off.
It's like they say, you're both in better and worse shape than you think.
That's a good one. No matter how nice the hike was, always the best part of the trip is once you get back down and you get to get out of your boots and into your berks.